I will say this right now. This was better than the original. That's not saying much, but still. Props.
How do you not die? You never die. Take a couple of tablespoons of cement and harden the hell up!
Attack of the Giant Leeches, the 2008 remake, directed by Brett Kelly. It's a remake of the 1959 B-movie of the same name. The plot. It is the exact same as the original. Leeches, game warden, and a useless subplot all transpire in this movie that manages to be 15 minutes longer than the original. How so? Let's find out. Let's start off with the characters here. I did find their dialogue a bit more quick and bearable, as well as providing us with some great cheesy lines. Everyone seemed to be having fun making this movie. Even with the subplot and dumbass game warden, you can't help but feel that the pacing is quicker and the writing is stronger here. Now, I'm not saying the acting is above average, it's just they knew how to act, and with a wink at the camera every now and then, they didn't take everything so seriously. That was a problem I had with the original. Everything was so damn serious. It's about giant leeches, for hell's sake, heaven's sake, God's sake, Christ's sakes. Another thing I want to discuss is the atmosphere. What surprised me is that even the day for night shots had an eerie quality to them. Like when you're stuck in the marsh on a bright moonlit night. I will not lie, there were a few jump scares that they got me. It was mostly from the overly loud music that cuts in every time the startle scare happens. Even the audio work isn't half bad, which is hard especially when you're near the water and on a tight budget. To move on to the cons of this movie, the subplot is even more brutal in this one. Not saying because it drags, but the fact that the woman in this relationship is such a pile of scum. She's ruthless. It makes her character out to be hateable, and I actually kind of feel bad for the guy. By the end, there is room for a sequel, and I was actually satisfied when the movie went to credits. That last shot was One thing I didn't like, though, was some side characters. They were more like side chicks, because they'd appear every so often and do nothing to advance the plot. I mean, the subplot characters didn't do much either, but at least they were more relevant to the story for a longer time. The side chicks find a body near the end. That's their reason for being there. They're mostly there for eye candy. This movie was filmed in Canada, and the game warden's accent made that abundantly clear every time it slipped. Speaking of the game warden, he actually annoyed the crap out of me, even more so than in the original. They even bring up that there's nothing left in there, so why not use depth charges? Which honestly, I don't remember if they said that in the original. Anyway, his ignorance and pig-headedness drove me up a wall. The sheriff character was kind of a dick, but he had more relevance here than in the original, where that character was there just to be given the I told you so comeback. The gore, the effects, a leech is stabbed and blood comes out, like the scene in my intro for Worm Week 3. There are some nasty feasting scenes via noise, and there's some more minor blood, nothing too much. The leeches are definitely an improvement. They actually look like leeches and not guys in suits, although sometimes they do look like arm puppets, and I assume that's what they were. The motion picture soundtrack, it's a major improvement over the original and not too shabby either. If you can look past the low budget nature, you can have a lot more fun with this remake than the original. I do kind of wish there was a cave, but with all the pros that outweigh the cons, I can let it slide. Overall, I give Attack of the Giant Leeches, the 2008 remake of a 1959 B-movie, a 3 out of 5. Lion Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page and the description below and leave comments and subscribe.